The women's choir at one of the EYN churches in Jos, one of the relatively few congregations in the Church of the Brethren in Nigeria, still holding regular worship services. 2 months ago, there were an estimated 96,000 EYN members who had fled their homes and become essentially refugees in their own country. With the attack in late October by the terrorist group Boko Haram on Kwari, the community where the EYN headquarters and Cult Bible College are located, that number increased dramatically. The attack began early in the morning, and people left everything behind, dodging bullets and fleeing into the bush.
We were running for our lives.
I spent the whole day running in the bush. When we got hungry and thirsty, we were just drinking the running water and even eating the granules in the people's farm.
Someone just opened the door of the gate. When he opened it, and someone just shot at the car. That is why I had a bullet. But thank God it was not, it did not hit me directly.
Many people ended up walking some 20 miles through the mountains to safety in Cameroon. Many others are staying with relatives and friends in the Yola area, others in large resettlement camps. Many of them have found their way to the relatively safe regions of Abuja and Jos, but are homeless, bringing only the clothes they had on when they fled. EYN staff liaison Marcus Camachi and his wife opened their home in Jos to almost 50 people who had nowhere else to go. Other EYN members in the Yola, Jos, and Abuja area are doing the same.
I get about 45 people, more than even 45. They are coming. They sleep in bush more than 10 days before they get to Jos.
The people standing here at the Jos Church on Sunday are those who are displaced, who have fled the violence in their home communities, but wanted to worship with other EYN members on this Sunday. EYN leadership has relocated to Jos and is trying to provide housing for EYN leadership and for pastors whose churches have either been burned or whose communities have been evacuated. 8 pastors and over 3,000 EYN members so far have been killed by Boko Haram. EYN leadership is consulting with Carl and Roxanne Hill, who had been the most recent American teachers at Cult Bible College and who left this past May. They will be key figures in the assistance efforts of the Church of the Brethren in the U.S. Many EYN members who don't have relatives in the safe zones are staying in resettlement camps, like this one set up by a mission group in Jos called Stephanus Foundation. Others have been moved to relocation sites like this one near Abuja, which is one of the few open to both Muslims and Christians. Muslims who have not embraced the radical jihadist position of Boko Haram are also being killed. And many of them, like Ibrahim Ali and the 9 members of his family, have fled the towns now occupied by Boko Haram. At this point, EYN leadership is considering building temporary housing in several areas, including this large piece of land owned by EYN near a school that closed several years ago. Already 20 families are staying in these classrooms, 8 to 10 to a room, with many more on their way here. Food is another desperate need of the displaced people. Grants from the Nigeria Crisis Fund in the U.S. help provide food for many EYN members and assistance to displaced persons. But those initial grants are gone. Rebecca Dolly, the wife of EYN President Samuel Dolly, and the woman who visited the Church of the Brethren annual conference last summer, turned some $16,000 worth of Brethren funds into food and emergency supplies, which were given out to families in some of the resettlement areas. A distribution at the EYN Church in Jos resulted in far more people needing food and supplies than she was able to provide.
People are desperate. People are desperate. No food, clothes. They lost everything. That is why they are so desperate.
To provide food not only to the displaced, but even to the family who are hosting them, is very important to give them food so that they take care of those who are living together with them. And this is what we have been doing.
So far, the Church of the Brethren in the U.S. has provided more than $320,000 worth of relief for our sister church in Nigeria, including contributions from the EYN Compassion Fund. But much more is needed. In addition to constant prayer for the safety of both EYN members and their Muslim neighbors, funds are needed to build homes for displaced families, for clean water and sanitation, sleeping mats and mosquito nets, for food for those who are displaced, and support for families who are housing the displaced people. All money in the U.S. is being channeled through the Nigeria Crisis Fund, and all donations are being matched by money earmarked by the Mission and Ministry Board for Nigeria at their October meeting. The Church of the Brethren in Nigeria has been displaced by violence, but indeed they have not been abandoned. Their deep faith in God and commitment to each other sustains them. But now is clearly an opportunity for their brothers and sisters in the U.S. to walk with them, to share their burdens. For as it says in 1 Corinthians, when one part of the body suffers, we all suffer. And when one part is honored, we all rejoice.